Welcome back, guys, and welcome back to another Unity tutorial. This one has been requested in, if you watch my GTA 5 video, which I'm not probably gonna post any more mod videos. I might, but I just want to try something different. And someone said, "Yo, can you make a building thing? Like, I don't mean like the campfire building, like the prefab instantiating. I mean snapping." Like Rust or Unturned or those kind of games where if you look at a foundation, you can place a wall. So I'm basing this off of the kind of new Rust and Unturned, except I'm not using the pillars or the roofs or door frames yet. Those might be added in the future. This is just basic show off what you can do. So this script isn't everything you're gonna want to use. Now, this does not place foundations if there's no foundation there. So if you want to start a new house, this does not place a foundation by itself. This has to be connected. Now that's easy. That's just like take the campfire build one, just instantiate it, and then everything else is ready to go. Basically, this is 98 lines of code. Yeah, pretty close to 100, and I could probably shorten it. So I tried to make it easy for you guys to understand. It took a pain in the butt, and it's going to take some configuration if you guys want to use this on your own thing. But this works for me, and it works perfectly with the size of these. If you resize these, you're going to have to mess around with the settings a little. I might be able to help you with that. So I'm going to go in game. Sorry, I have a sniffle. And if you go, you have to add the script to your main camera. Now I'm going to provide the assets. So here we have simple building script. So simple building script has a few tabs, and it says prefabs needed, a wall and a foundation. And this one needs this one. I don't know why this is called. I should call this a foundation just for you guys. So there, it needs a wall and a foundation. Now if I add more, it's gonna need like a roof, a door frame. I'm planning to actually make this into something you guys can use. And then, I'm making a game, Outcry 2.0. Now, Outcry 1 was cancelled because it just wasn't getting anywhere with the assets. So, we're remaking it, and hopefully gonna make some better progress. Now, layer of the no-collide objects. This is the thing, this is the magic. This is the magic that makes this thing all work. If I click on this foundation, you see there's a bunch of box colliders. There's four for the walls, and there's four for where the foundations can go. You see these ones on the side, like this one here, there, over here. Those are where connected foundations can connect. So a foundation can go there, and then it'll add one there, one there, and one there. Same with the walls. Basically, how these work is if we go edit, project settings, physics, you'll notice that I added a new layer. It's called raycast wall layer. So if I go onto my assets, or if I go onto my foundation, you'll notice that the four walls, I should call these walls, have a layer of the raycast wall layer and a tag of the wall. The foundations connecting on the sides have the same layer, except our tagged foundation placement spot. Now I'm going to go into the project settings again, and you'll notice that straight down is all unselected. So even though these have a box collider that are not triggers, they are technically still collidable, but not with anything that we unchecked. So only a raycast can hit the collider. Now this took me a while to figure out. I was like, man, how are people doing this in the games? Like, man. And I finally figured it out. It's just, this is on a different layer. That's why when we go in here, the raycast only hits things on that layer. It may be a little confusing. I'm going to put it in simple form. Make sure your walls, like where your walls can be placed, and your foundations have the same layer that is ticked here. If you tick anything else, it might mess up. It might not because, it requires a tag too. Now, don't touch these unless you know what to do. These were actually something that were going to be added. I don't know if they're actually used. They might be. And it was for the walls. You don't want to touch those. I don't even know if I used them because I ended up using different methods. Now, ghost objects. We have cube, wall ghost, and foundation ghost. Now, these are the exact same as in the survival series. Basically, actually, it also has another thing. Null spot, ghost wall, and ghost foundation. So basically, this cube, I'll call it null spot, is somewhere off the map where you don't want your players to see. I placed it under the map because nobody's going to be under the map. And then we have the wall ghost. And we have the wall, or the foundation ghost. Basically, if someone, before they place it, it's going to see, like, oh, this is what it's going to look like before I actually place it. So this is going to need a bit of tweaking because, you know, you can't just go in and be like, I want a foundation right here. If you guys want a foundation right there, you're going to have to, you know, set it. Let me turn down the audio here. Alright. So, let me reboot the game and then turn down the audio. So I'm going to show you foundation. So if you just download the assets, if you press 2 on your keyboard, I don't even know, numpad does not work. If you press 1, it goes to wall. If you press 2, it goes to foundations. Now, foundations can be placed simply by seeing the ghost and clicking your mouse. It's a smooth, seamless transition, or, you know, 90% seamless. So I'm going to go ahead and place some just to show you guys in the editor. So if I go like this. Basically, what I'm going to show you is the spots where you can place, where it says you can place. So I'm going to, if you guys don't quite understand, I'll show you in a second. Basically, I just need to place a bunch of these. Alright, sorry about that. So where were we? Oh, yeah. So we connect these, and you notice it's seamless, like, literally. So, now I'm going to go into the editor. You'll notice, oh yeah, what do you want to say? So if I hide this, and I select all these foundations we placed, yeah, pretty fancy. You can see all these cubes on the side here are where we can place foundations. As you can see, it's showing us a pretty cool thing. It's showing us where all the foundations can be placed, like along the side here, and showing that ghost. All along this side, where our foundations can be placed. Oops. Noticed, since this is in a corner, it kind of just connects with these. Same here, goes along. Can't be placed there unless one's there. So it's kind of like a voxel or like box based kind of. So I think it's really unique. And now the walls. The walls here can be double stacked. I don't know, you might want to change that, you might not. So if you press 1, now we're on walls. Basically, you can place walls here and here. This is what I mean by double stacked, like one on each foundation. So if I place walls around here, my mouse is not locked, so it's a little wonky. Around on the inside. I just want to show you guys the... Okay, this is what I really wanted to show you guys, the corners. The corners connect actually kind of good. Now, I didn't make them big enough so you can see kind of through the cracks. But the corners connect really nicely if you position them right. Now, this took me a long time to get. It looks really nice. The thing that took me the longest was the foundation because they weren't connecting. So, as you can see, there's no corner piece. That's because I didn't make them quite long enough. Because this one is on this foundation, which means it only goes up to here, like this here, which if you place a wall here, it looks fine on this side and on this side. It looks fine. So walls are pretty nice. You know, they snap because you guys wanted them to snap. So snap, snaps here. Foundations, snap. Now it's, like I said before, it's a voxel-based, like, square snapping system. So it only snaps to the closest, you know, square. You can't say, I want one in this corner. You have to have one connected to that corner. I think it's pretty cool. And I might be adding this in Outcry, actually, because I've been wanting something like this ever since, you know, I first started game development. And it struggled me, you know, 3 years later. And I actually it was the simplest thing ever. Just raycast mask. This actually took me like an hour or two to get right, even though the coding's not too much. It's this part right here. I had to, if it's named Secondary Foundation 2, basically like for all 4 of them, for the foundations, set it to the thing, and I don't know why, I tried putting this instead of temp 1. It's like, put in a variable first. I was like, what the heck? So I had to put in a float, then I had to take that float -8, then I had to put that in here. So it took me a while to figure out. So if you guys want updates, I'll be sure to post updates, and I'll post the project files. Should I post the project files or should I make it an asset? I'll post the project files so you guys can download it, run it, and be like, whoa, this is pretty cool, Dirk. You know what, I just might subscribe for this because, you know, I've been searching everywhere and nobody has tutorials. And I actually, when I started game development, I wanted something like this for, you know, a building game. Couldn't find it anywhere. And I was kind of disappointed. I seen tutorials on it, but they just stopped working on it. They're like, oh yeah, so let's make the blocks. Alright, let's just not show them the script. Or people would make it and say, download in the description, and the download link would be broken. Or they would be like, coming soon, and it just never came. And so I thought, you know, with that person who wanted it, and how I wanted it before, and just how there's no tutorials, which is surprisingly weird for how easy it is. There might be like 1 or 2 actual tutorials, I have no idea. I'm cutting this close to 12 minutes, but I hope you guys enjoyed. Please subscribe, and like usual, just link is in the description, and have a good one.